Dragon Riders, Kaze no Kaeru, by Night Dragon Zero. Night Slice's perspective. As the morning sun rose, the scene of the camp was a truly bittersweet one. There had been so many stories exchanged, new faces to meet, and old ones who'd left. I'd been dealing with my own inner demons. Allegard had been there, and so had Chris, my father and half-sister. Working together? I didn't know for certain, but I tried my best not to think about it. Firestorm, sitting next to Jade at the fire, probably still telling Jade his tale. I found it odd seeing Jade was the Charizard and Storm was in the human form. Fortunately, someone had an extra shirt to replace the one that Storm tore in our battle. As if on cue, a strong gust of wind blew the fire down. Storm promptly grabbed Jade's flaming Charizard tail and used it to relight the flame. Jade gave him a nasty stare, but Storm replied with something about getting back. The rest of the group, all the Pokemon and the humans, was currently listening to Nala and Riot's story. I walked over to join them, crossing my legs and resting my bladed claws on the ground. However, Dracia was in an utter state of depression, lying off at the edge of camp on her stomach. I felt like trying to comfort her, but I hadn't been around the Dragonite very much at all. Firestorm was apparently still mad, and keeping himself occupied was his way of also trying to keep his cool. Instinctively, I nudged the closest person to me, Serac, and gestured towards Dracia with my snout. The blonde-haired woman nodded and stood up, walking over to the depressed Dracia. "Excuse me, but what do you mean I have your blood in me?" Nala was asking. "It's exactly as I've said it," Riot the Aerodactyl answered. "Well, perhaps not directly, but I can feel it." "I think she means her DNA," Hazuki suggested. "Having part Pokemon DNA is what makes you a chimera. I was one from birth, but I just got it shot into me," Nala finished, rubbing her arm. "Maybe that's why they were jabbing those needles into me." "This is all truly intriguing," Riot spoke. "I do believe that what they did to you was simply a test of implementing the chimera process on an already living subject." Everyone stared, mouthed open. "If you're an ancient Pokemon who's been dead for a few million years and who was revived from a fossil, exactly how do you know all this?" Nala staggered. I'm not sure, really." Riot thought hard. "I just seem to know all this. But as hard as I try, I can't recall any memories of my past." "Perhaps her brain has been modified as well," Kyle thought, who was out of the Pokeball and lying on the grass. "Some sort of computer enhancement, perhaps?" "It's a thought," Hazuki nodded. "One thing I'm confused about, though," I added in. "Why would the enemy seemingly instill an advantage upon us? I mean, it's more difficult to fight a group of chimeras than to just fight a group of humans." The conversation had caught Firestorm and Jade's interest as well, as they came over. "You know," Storm recalled, "back in the building, I heard the SF leader say that they'd taken blood samples from the group of us, namely Serac, Hazuki, and myself. And provided Riot is correct, they used Nala to test out implementing processes on a living subject." "What are you getting at, Storm?" I asked with interest. "He's got something planned out, something that requires not only several DNA samples, but need to be tested as well." "Could it be that virus thing?" Hazuki wondered out loud. "The Project VX? How'd you know about that, kid?" Storm asked. "The Purple Cat told me." "Oh, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone!" "Purple Cat?" Luminar muttered. "A Pokemon?" Ashura queried. "See, I just met her after the two of you left," Hazuki explained, standing up. "Well, it was really weird. We were just staring at each other, and then she came over and touched my forehead. I was actually too frightened to move, but she didn't hurt me or anything. She said that I'd best keep our meeting a secret and left. Then I just got this bunch of information in my mind." "It sounds like a psychic or something," Kyle noted. "You know what a Mew looks like?" Jade asked. "Was that it?" "No, she was taller than me," Hazuki replied. "It definitely wasn't a Mew, but I remember she gave me some sort of really important information about the virus being able to affect chimera." "Hazuki?" I gasped as she toppled over. I caught her using the flats of my blades, being extra careful not to cut her, and laid her down on the grass. "Is a human supposed to feel this warm?" Storm asked, putting his hand on Hazuki's forehead. Serac came running over as Nala stepped up to take Storm's place. "God, she's burning up!" Nala whispered, shocked. "What could have caused this?" Serac wondered. "The virus we were talking about?" Jade suggested. "But that would mean—" "God damn it!" I shouted, arousing stares from everyone. "Night Slice?" Luminar asked. "Any scientist knows he needs to field test a product to ensure it working," I growled. "And Hazuki's the—" There's no end to this inhumanity, is there? Serac muttered. But if she's infected, then are the rest of us? Don't worry, the virus isn't transferable through airborne means. Yet, Ozgi said from her lying position on the floor. I'm okay for now. It'll take a while before I'm down. But why make a virus to kill chimeras? Nala asked. I'm sure it wasn't for the express purpose of taking care of us. No, it goes further than that, I said. I feel it has something to do with the rivalry between Team Rocket and Silph. You kill all the rest of the chimeras, and if you have the only ones left, you can easily sell yours to the highest bidder. They'll pay millions or more, Jade said. That's what I think, at least. Who's stupid enough to do that? Storm roared. You'd be surprised what people can do, I said, shaking my head. But now our course of action is clear. Everyone gave me their full attention as I spoke. Jubei and his SFs will definitely have some antivirus. We'll need to go get it from them. I glanced over to Hazuki. Then, for the sake of us all, we kill every single one of those fucking bastards. Since when do the good guys do that? Kyle muttered. I'm in for it, Dracia growled, walking over, speaking for the first time in hours. Kill every one of them, and make them suffer! Dracia, Serac whispered. The Dragonite smashed her claws together and cracked her knuckles. There was something very different about the tone of her voice, too. Gone was the gentle and humorous voice I remembered. Aren't you chaps forgetting something? Riot asked. We need to find them first. I think someone already has, I grinned, pointing my head up and alerting everyone to the soft beating of wings. A crowbat? Ashura said, getting up. Koga was kind enough to lend him to me to aid in searching for you. Even a psychic like me can't exert her powers too much trying to do that. Sabrina! Storm gasped as the gym leader stepped into view. You heard everything? Indeed, she nodded. I've been in touch with Koga and Blaine. We've done some recon work of our own, but we've pretty much ended up with the same information that you've already concluded. Uncle Blaine? Jade muttered. You did mention me to him when you told your story, Jade, the psychic replied. Which reminds me. She tossed a couple of Pokeballs, releasing an Electabuzz and a Blastoise. Hey, Urgus! Firestorm gasped, recognizing his old comrade. Yo! The Electabuzz waved. It's you! Wartortle, old buddy! Ashura said happily. Yeah, I evolved. Cool, huh? By the way, they call me Azure. Azure the Blastoise laughed. Nice to see you again. My fellow gym leaders send their regards too, Sabrina continued, but I'm afraid you'll need to have your group reunion later. When you're ready, I'll mass teleport you to where you need to be. I'd pretty much been promoted to the leader of the group. I stepped forward and looked over my friends. Storm and Jade, looking firm and resolved. Hazuki on her feet, but being supported by Kyle. Next to them, Serac and Dracia, Nala and Riot, new partners, but definitely reliable ones. Luminar and Ashura, Urges and Azure, all awaiting orders. Let's end this, I declared.